As you all should know by now, I'm a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. Well, kind of.
What?
Yeah, most of you wouldn't have guessed that. Sonic is very hit and miss with me. The Sonic I love is the limited period in the series that influenced me both emotionally and developmentally, growing up with high-functioning autism. This pretty much means that any games or media before and after this period, and in some cases during this period, either haven't impacted me as much or have always rubbed me the wrong way, kind of like how anime has.
What do you mean?
Let me give you a better idea of this whole thing by dividing Sonic's history into several different eras based on my feelings and viewpoints toward the series. The smallest era, my personal favorite, which only consists of 3 major titles and a few smaller and mobile titles in between, is the Dreamcast era. This lasted from 1998 to 2004 and encompassed the adventure games and Sonic Heroes, as well as Sonic the Battle and the Sonic Advance games. Now, regardless of how controversial this might be, the modern era is my second favorite era, and it spans from 2008 to the present day, beginning with Sonic Unleashed and ending with Team Sonic Racing as of now.
First blood, Sabok.
This is more in regards to the gameplay, voice acting, and character interpretations, even if I have serious issues with how Tails and Shadow are portrayed in these games.
Sonic's asked me for the first time to do something for him. I won't let him down. I won't give up.
The classic era from 1991 to 1998 isn't terrible by any means, and it was pretty much Sonic's Renaissance era after all, but considering how it's borderline unrecognizable to the Sonic I grew up loving, it's extremely jarring and difficult for me to play the games from this period, even though they're creative as all hell. If the classic and modern eras aren't my favorite for how unfamiliar and or weak they are, the absolute worst era that encapsulates everything I don't like about Sonic is what I like to call the grungy anime era. The titles included ranging from Shadow the Hedgehog in 2005 to Sonic and the Black Knight in 2009.
You suck!
Now, to be fair, the grungy anime and modern eras kind of intersect, but this is just based on how I personally perceive each game. This is also because Sonic Unleashed feels more lighthearted and kid-friendly, despite having darker themes, so it fits more into the modern era for me.
Shut up!
I'll be comparing the grungy anime Sonic titles with the games focused on in this episode as I talk about them, but in brief, the voice actors, character personalities, gameplay mechanics, tone, and soundtrack all represent what I despise about this period in Sonic's history. Let Sam explain.
In this world you've got to be strong. You've got to fight to keep your spirit alive. And you might feel like there is nothing left to go forward and fight for. But it's a fight that keeps us ready and on guard. Even I can feel the power. When I think of you,
Sonic Adventure DX. Yeah, I should specify this, but it's not as important as most people would think. Yes, it was the DX version of Sonic Adventure that I grew up with on the GameCube, and it's very different from the original Dreamcast version in numerous ways. At the same time, however, no, it's more or less the same in terms of the gameplay, voice acting, soundtrack, and all of its more significant qualities. In fact, I'll tell you this, folks, there were a hell of a lot of benefits to spending my early years with this version. Back in my day, we had hyper-fast 60 FPS gameplay, goddammit! None of those long, quiet pauses between hub world sections either. Sure, I didn't grow up with any plushy hands or trees around Angel Island, but I enjoyed the hell out of it, goddammit! Anyway, first of all, let's start out with how I first began to play this game. This might have actually been the very first video game I ever played, as I first fought Chaos Zero on my cousin's old GameCube during a visit from them on Thanksgiving. We also played a few other games like Dragon Ball Z Budokai, Smash Bros. 64, yada yada yada, nothing really memorable. Sonic Adventure DX, on the other hand, really clicked with me in a way. The soundtrack, the style, Sonic's fun, positive, carefree voice, this game affected me so much that I eventually begged my parents to get me my own GameCube, which they obviously did. After the first few minutes, seeing Eggman laughing, Sonic's hilarious "you gonna crash" face, and feeling the sunshine of Emerald Coast, I began to feel something special. I heard the two music tracks in Emerald Coast, Azure Blue World, and Windy and Ripley, and they gave me this sort of unique mixture of excitement and serenity. When you have autism, you tend to look for a lot of these kinds of emotions and things, and in a way, this game really affected me, and it's what caused me to play it for as long as I have. And now that we have that super complicated history out of the way, what makes this game brilliant overall, in my opinion?
How about I give you a little sample?
Reason number one, the storyline. You really can't compare this to the storylines of the classic games, since the stories of those games range anywhere from unclear to non-existent. Most of the games after this one, however, have storylines that are either a little too simple or way too bizarre and overcomplicated. Sonic Adventure's story not only requires you to explore the turbulent history of an ancient civilization lost in time, but does so while unraveling and clarifying itself over time as the 6 individual characters' storylines intersect.
Father, please don't!
To call, the 7 emeralds are essential to our survival. It is for the good of all our people.
How can I make you understand? Now my father is trying to take their sacred home. It seems his heart is closed off to us all.
Get out of my way!
No way!
Did you hear what I said?
I won't obey!
We need those 7 emeralds to give us total power. It's power for the people, and they are your people too, you know. We must get that emerald.
Greed is our enemy. Once it starts, you will always want more. Please don't do this. I beg you.
Bah! I don't listen to the words of a child. Ready, men? Charge!
Father!
Hell, I'd even argue that the game makes itself a little too clear at times, like when Eggman just comes right out with his evil plans.
His strength increases every time I feed him a Chaos Emerald. With all 7 emeralds in him, he'll be invincible and work for me. Together, we'll destroy Station Square. And on its ruins, I'll build Robotnik Land, the ultimate city, where I will rule it all. Come on, Chaos! Let's find another emerald, shall we?
I don't mind that though, because he probably thinks everything he comes up with is so brilliant that he needs to share it with his sworn enemies. Now, insignificant plot holes aside, let me compare this game to Super Mario 64, one of the most beloved and influential games of all time, which introduced Mario to the 3D world the same way this game brought Sonic there. With so many playable characters, an engaging but easy to follow story, and such well-constructed hub worlds to explore, not to mention camera controls that are considerably less wonky, I can't help but see Sonic Adventure the same way others see Mario 64.
You're right, pal!
It's just as much of a masterpiece, if not a million times better. Reason number 2, the voice actors. Corny? Yes. Not always very good? Sure. The best Sonic voice actors thus far? Absolutely. This is a perfect point to compare different characters' voice actors in the Dreamcast, grungy anime, and modern eras, since they make all the difference in how the characters I grew up with getting to know are portrayed. As Jay from Red Letter Media has pointed out, cast the wrong actors and the whole project can fall apart. Similarly, casting actors improperly can also affect how characters are depicted, as I'll explain with Sonic's Dreamcast era voice actor Ryan Drummond, his grungy anime era voice actor Jason Griffith, and his modern era voice actor Roger Craig Smith. As you can probably guess, Ryan Drummond is the definitive Sonic voice actor in my eyes, and as you can also probably guess but are too terrified to admit it, I prefer Roger Craig Smith over Jason Griffith. Laugh it up, fuzzball. Let me elaborate. Ryan Drummond's Sonic voice is what allowed me to look up to him as a kid. He always sounded so warm, fun, encouraging, and relaxed at the same time. All qualities that people with autism are attracted to. I mean, just look at shows like Bear in the Big Blue House. Why do you think that one resonated with him? My point is, there was always something nice and genuine about his Sonic, and the fact that he was always focused on his friend's strengths and weaknesses always touched me in a really personal way.
Hey, Sonic! Long time no see, huh?
I'm just glad you're okay.
The door's locked. We need a key to get in there.
No problem. We can find it. Right, Knuckles?
What? Why do I have to find the key?
We're counting on you, buddy. The world's greatest treasure hunter.
Boy, talk about cutting it close.
Not really.
Come on, tell me you weren't scared. If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have had a chance.
Well, maybe you're right. Thanks, Knuckles. You too, Tails.
He was kind of like that friend you had back in elementary school who always had your back on things. Now, as for Roger Craig Smith, I know that he's a million times more sarcastic, and he makes plenty of snarky comments about his friends.
Oh, sure. Don't even bother to ask how I am.
Sonic!
Amy?
I'm so glad!
Hold up, Amy. Is there an exit around here? Your concern is touching, Knuckles.
But considering the fact that he maintains a natural likability and is still generally a very friendly, laid-back, supportive guy,
We can't hold any longer! You've done plenty! Great job!
They're in the ruins up ahead. Great, Amy. I'll make sure everyone's efforts weren't in vain.
he's still more or less the same Sonic I grew up with, just more mature. Considering how I like to interpret classic Sonic as a little kid, Dreamcast Sonic a preteen, grungy anime Sonic a teenager, and modern Sonic an adult in his 20s, and yes, I know that he's apparently always 15, but I prefer not to think of him that way for the sake of consistency, modern Sonic comes off like a cool older brother figure to me. Now, probably just me being a dumb kid at the time, I didn't notice many differences in Shadow the Hedgehog when Jason Griffith took over for Ryan Drummond, but I notice now more than ever what makes him my least favorite Sonic voice actor. A lot of people claim that his voice, the pitch and tone of it, not those weird off-putting inflections, sounds the most like a teenager, which I can very much understand. At the same time, though, Griffith is a prominent anime voice actor, so there's a certain amount of intensity to his performance, and that combined with those inflections might have come off as a little too intimidating to me as a kid.
Woohoo! Now I'll show you!
Third wish! A razor Jin? You shall live out the rest of time trapped inside your lamp as you were in days of old!
Let's just say that, like what could be argued about the live-action versions of the Joker, the different Sonic voice actors fit the eras they come from, especially when factoring in Jaleel White from Adventures and Saturday AM. In other words, I was never a fan of grungy anime Sonic, and I was never a fan of the voice actor for that era.
You suck!
At least Roger Sonic was legitimately funny at times, especially compared to Jason Sonic.
Maybe he'd have more friends if he didn't talk about himself in the third person. We're like a well-oiled machine, fighting a well-oiled machine.
Whoa! Are you all coming out to say hi?
Nope, I'm pretty sure they're just all coming out to kill you. Honest mistake, though.
You suck!
Now there's a lot else that I could address about Sonic Adventure, like the Chow Garden, the nice change of pace in Big's gameplay, Gamma's super enjoyable shooting gameplay, oh, and also the Station Square genocide at the hands of Chaos at the end. But the age of the game might diminish many fans' outlooks towards it. As for me though, the game has not aged like moldy bread. As a matter of fact, it's aged like fine wine. Or maybe Gouda cheese, I'm pretty split between the two. There is no outdated slang, the animation has a retro game charm and was cleverly utilized for comedic effect. And the one rap song included was Knuckles' theme, and to this day, it's the greatest rap song I've ever heard in kids media. In fact, it's probably the only good rap song in kids media.
Put your hands together if you wanna clap. As we take you through this funky rap.
Down with Zelda from the very start. I got the heart, it's Mars to play the part. Down with Zelda. Creeping through with an overhead view, cause a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do.
I want to shake his hand for having the courage to do that in front of a camera.
This man whose rap embarrassed the nation.
This alliance has a purpose. This partnership is only temporary.
I will be the one to set your heart free, true. Cleanse yourself of evil spirits that got in you.
Be fighting now, stand up to all the pain and turmoil. Just believe in myself, won't rely on others.
It is insanely catchy, fairly well written, and baby, you cannot top that saxophone. I'm not even kidding when I say this. We mastered this game with stunning modern-day graphics and geometry, and it'll officially be timeless in every sense of the word. Have I mentioned that I love this game yet?
Yes!